Gone bang!
Oh! Oh, hello. I know, right? My very own movie.
Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to another episode of Character Analysis. I'm your host, Brandon, and this is Gabby. And today we are going to be talking about the one, the only Merc with the mouth, Deadpool.
Origin story time!
No! I said stop! Sorry about that. Hopefully you get through this without another one of those. So, Deadpool. First of all, he is one of the most famous anti-heroes, and what we mean by that is he is a hero. He is the good guy, saves the people, but he has a look and an attitude that just screams bad guy.
Yeah, he has very confusing morals. He picks and chooses what good things he wants to do, and he definitely, there's specific people that he cares about, so he will do pretty much anything for them, but if it involves breaking the law, he'll do that too.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's really kind of one of those the beauties in the eye of the beholder. Some people could see him as a true hero. Others see him as the anti-hero. Some people even see him as a villain because he, like you said, if he has to break the law, if he has to kill people, he will do that for the greater good in his eye. Another thing that kind of really strikes me about him is, especially in the movie, when Vanessa, his girlfriend in the movie, when she gets kidnapped, you really see not just how he wants to get her back, he wants to get Francis for, making him look like Freddy Krueger. You really see how alone he feels without her. Sure, he has Weasel and everything like that, and the old blind lady that he lives with, can't remember her name, even though she is one of the best characters in the movie. But that's another story for another time.
Blind Al or something like that?
Yeah, I think it is Al.
Yeah. Blind Al? I don't know.
Anyways, you really feel how alone he really is in this.
Speaking of how alone he is, one of the biggest things in the comics, and they threw that in the movie too, is when he breaks the fourth wall, you can tell that he knows that he's in a comic or a movie. And an interesting concept that they added to his character was the fact that he knows he's in a comic, and he's the only one, so that kind of doubles down on the aloneness that he feels. He knows he's in a comic, and he tries sometimes to tell other people that they're in a comic, and they're all like, "What are you talking about? What is a comic?" So he knows that he's in a comic, and he's the only one, and that's like that. In some of the comics, it definitely shows in his sadness of not truly being understood.
Right, it's almost like a superhero take on the Truman Show.
Tell me what's happening! Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening. You're part of this, aren't you?
Granted, before he finds out that he's in a TV show, he's a normal guy, but once he figures that out, he starts messing with the people that are watching the show, fourth wall breaks, everything like that, and he starts feeling alone because the wife that he married.
Do something! What'd you say? Who are you talking to? Nothing, I didn't say anything.
All his friends, neighbors, they are now complete strangers to him because who really are these people? So in that kind of sense, it does make sense. It kind of does make you feel like, ooh, that would be a bad feeling.
Yeah.
Almost just knowing, hey, there's something out there. No, there's not. Yes, there is.
Another thing along that line that both in the Truman Show and Deadpool is he uses humor. Because he knows he's in a comic, he uses humor because of the tragedy. His tragedy breeds humor.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm guilty. My whole family's guilty of using humor as a coping mechanism, whether it's to make yourself laugh or make others laugh. It's just he uses it as a coping mechanism, but I could be wrong. But I think he also uses it in a way to taunt his the people he's fighting against, his enemies, the thugs, what have you, because, if you're fighting someone, the last thing you want them to do is start making jokes at you and start making fun of you. That's just going to make you more mad, which is what he wants, because then you're not thinking. Yeah. So that's why he might be a genius. Might be a genius. So like any normal comic book superhero or supervillain, there always has to be a tragic origin story, or else there's really no point in having that character.
Yeah, this particular character has a rather tragic story. It's still a little bit unclear. There's a lot of wiki posts, Marvel wiki posts talking about his origin stories. And in the comics, for the most part, when he retells his story, he does it with humor and makes up a bunch of ridiculous stuff. But in the posts, there's a lot of consistency. There's an abusive father, or a dead father, or a deadbeat father who leaves. So any one of those things, it's because he tells the story so many times, not even the wiki pages really knows what his actual birth and childhood story is.
Of course.
But one thing that is consistent in all of the wiki posts and research, it's his mother. His mother, either because of the abusive husband or the deadbeat husband or the dead husband, she ends up using humor as a coping mechanism afterwards, which is where Wade Wilson learns it, as well as being an alcoholic. So that ends up being the environment that Wade Wilson grows up in, and it's not a very good environment, so he ends up growing up in that way.
Now, what some people don't actually realize, and I didn't either, the movie doesn't explain this as well or at all, but Wade actually has a little bit of military background. Now, we don't know how much or how extensive it is, and there's multiple theories or fan stories of, he either left or he got kicked out of the military because he couldn't follow rules and, he's got a mouth. And because of that training, that's how he became such a skilled fighter. As you can see in the movie, he knows what he's doing. He's not just flailing his arms around. He actually knows what to do, how to fight. And I think also part of that is because of the experiment he went under.
Yeah.
Because he had multiple cancer all over his body, lungs, heart, what have you. And because of that, it actually made him more mentally unstable, because what the movie actually says is that the cancer is attacking his body just as quick as his body is, or the experiment is basically killing it.
So essentially, he has the same regenerative powers as Wolverine, and so he can't really be killed. But there is a comic that came out recently in 2015 where he actually does die, but to kill him, it was basically the entire world had to die. Two parallel universes crashed into each other.
Right.
So it exploded, and everyone dies.
More of the story, you want to kill Deadpool? Kill everybody else. Apparently it works. So, essentially, he is one of the... He's one of the best superheroes in the Marvel Universe. Mainly, and some people may fight with me on that, and that's fine. It's a matter of opinion. But he has the skills, he has the mindset, somewhat, and he basically, like you said, he can't really die. The movie did such a good job, and Ryan Reynolds did such a good job of actually portraying that character, having that character development of he's just a merc with a mouth to actually falling in love, being a superhero and saving the world, and not just doing something alone. That really talking about the character is talking about Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and vice versa. So in all sense and purposes, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I fully agree. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of our character analysis. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you can get all the notifications of when we post new videos. Mm-hmm. Also, don't forget to check out the links in the description. We got our website. Go check that out.
Make sure to back us on Patreon, which supports us in doing this.
Well, that's it. I'm Gabby. This is Brandon.
This is your friendly neighborhood pool guy singing.
See you next time.
Deadpool!